one hand, I'm like, this is overconsumption. On the other hand, I'm like, it's paper, it's biodegradable, and also I'm supporting authors. What do you expect me to do? Hi guys, Hannah here. Welcome to my video and to my channel. I've done some damage. Today, I'm going to be showing you every book that I bought in the month of January. Now, listen. It's currently the 8th of January, right? Okay, so I have bought so many books and I do not have the budget to be buying this many books. So I'm hoping that if I film this video right now saying these are the books that I bought in January and it's currently the 8th of January, hopefully that will act as kind of like a deterrent to me to be like, hey, these are all the books you said you were going to buy. The internet knows. The internet knows that you said you weren't going to buy any more books. So you guys can shame me if I bought any more. Future Hannah, did I buy any more books? Let me know. So I bought, I think, 14 books so far this month, which is crazy. And I think a big part of that is kind of like FOMO. I visited family over Christmas and my sister-in-law, love her, she's a slay, but she is a bookstagrammer. She has an incredible collection of books and a lot of like special editions, and like her bookshelves are incredible. And I think I got back home and I was just like really like inspired by her book collection. Maybe almost felt like I had something to prove with my book collection, which is so not the way that books should be going. And I'm usually really selective with which books I will buy. And I do think that every book I bought this month will be a good like investment, whether I have or haven't read them yet. But yes, I definitely did not need to be buying this many books. But without further ado, let's get into it. I don't want to shame spiral for too long. So here are all the books I bought in January. We're going to start off really strong. The first book I have got is Quicksilver. And I don't know if you can see on my shelf there. Yep, right there. That is the first, what do you call it? First edition of Quicksilver with the cover that Callie Hart actually designed herself. Listen, I also have Brimstone here. I finished Brimstone at the start of January or the end of December. No, it would have been the start of January. I finished Brimstone. I absolutely love this series. It's a series I would recommend to anyone. I loved Quicksilver. I loved Brimstone. When I love a book, I feel like I need to collect all of the different versions of the book. For some reason in my brain, I decided I had to own the like matching version of Quicksilver to Brimstone. I do think it's a shame that we steered away from the original like cover art. I know some people thought it was a little cringy, but I actually kind of liked it. Like, I think it's got a lot more character than the new version. Like, this version just looks kind of like soulless to me, and also the fact that the author's name and the title of the book are the same size, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't like it. Did I need 2 copies of the same book? No, I did not. But here we are. I'd be very surprised if you haven't even heard about Quicksilver, because I think it's a very, very popular book online. I would highly recommend it. It is a romantasy or fantasy romance. I still don't know the difference. I really need to do my research. But it's about a girl called Ceres, and she's always had this like strange connection with metals. And then this portal or like this gate opens up and this man comes through, and then she's brought into the world of Fae. And the cast of characters is incredible. There's so much like amazing lore. Carrion Swift is my ride or die comfort character. Oh my gosh, love him so much. He's so great. So that is our first book of the year. We're going to start with the like standard paperback books, and then we'll go into some sprayed edges, and then we'll go to special editions at the end. So the next book we've got is The Things Gods Break, which is the second book in the Crucible series. Have I read the first book yet? No, don't ask questions that you don't want the answer to. Again, is this a proud moment? No. But this is a series that I anticipate is going to be a 5-star series for me. I have the first book just down here, The Games Gods Play. And here's the thing. Have I read the first book yet? No. Do I own the first 2 books in the series? Yes, because I don't want to go and read this series and then find that they're not selling the trade paperback anymore, and then I can't get my hands on the trade paperback, because that is exactly what happened when I read the Emily Wilde books. I I think I read the first book from the library, and then I bought the second and third book, which I managed to get both in trade paperback. But I could not find the first book in trade paperback size anywhere, and I still don't own the first book because I feel like I would rather have a book missing from my collection than to have a book that is a different size to the rest of the series. Like, come on, Hannah, do you need to be buying these books right now? No, but also kind of yes. You know what I mean? And I'm not too worried about if I read the first book and don't like it and then don't go and read the second book, because I do think this is going to be a really highly rated series for me. It is absolutely adored online from what I've seen. I feel like I don't see many of my like booktubers or anything talking about this, but every Goodreads review that I've read has been really positive. I'm actually not sure. This feels like it's somewhat of like a contemporary fantasy. I don't know, but I do know that the like love interest or like the male main character is Hades, which, I mean, I love a brooding dark man. What can I say? So I know that the first book has a bunch of trials, which I love. Obviously, I don't want to read the synopsis or like too much about this second book because I don't want to get spoilers for the first book, because I haven't read it yet. So what I can tell you about this series is that there are Greek gods. The first book has trials. The male main character slash, I'm assuming, love interest is Hades. And that's all you need to know. That's all I need to know right now anyway. Next up, we have got Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. I don't think I've been saying the authors of these books. That's a habit I need to get into. That's a little like content creator brain thing. Come on, how to say the authors. This is, it says on the front, a spicy fantasy romance. I love it. This is the second book in a series. I don't know what the series is called, but the first book is Phantasma, which this is exactly the same situation as the Crucible series that we were just talking about, where I've not read the first book yet. I've not read Phantasma, but this was, I think, $7 at Target. This was half price. So it was really cheap, okay? These kind of seem like interconnected standalone series fantasy books, which you see all the time for contemporary romances, but not so much for fantasy. I might be really wrong there, but this also kind of reminds me, the concept of the two books, Phantasma and Enchantra, they kind of remind me a little bit of Caraval, but a little bit darker, maybe a lot darker. I don't want to read the back of this. I believe it's all different characters, so I don't think I'll get any spoilers for Phantasma by reading the back of this, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it for the biscuit, so I will be reading Phantasma first. This is yet another case of me buying the sequel before I finished the first book. This is The Throne of Broken Gods. Was this even half price? No, it wasn't. I just happened to be in Big W and I picked it up. This is the second book to the Book of Azrael. I got this book for Christmas and I haven't read it yet, and I picked up the second book while I was out and about. I think I've got some sort of like scarcity mindset that if I don't pick up a book when I see it, I'll never have the chance to buy it again. Which is not at all the case. Oh, it's the Gods and Monsters series. And the Book of Azrael, on the back it says, where there are gods, there are also monsters. For 1,000 years, the Etherworld has known peace until now. This is just hitting a lot of like tropes that I love. Like it's got the dark MMC and a bit of enemies to lovers, some gods and some like monsters. So maybe some like fantastical creatures sort of things as well. I don't know, but I just love all of that. So that's Book of Azrael. So yes, I also picked up Throne of Broken Gods, which is the second one. And both of these editions come with bonus chapters. I don't know if that's some sort of like exclusive edition thing or if that's just all of them have that. I don't know. Next up, we are breaking away from the fantasy genre. Now we have got Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I'm really excited about this one. This is quite different to a lot of things that are on my bookshelf, actually. This is a dark romance, very explicit kind of vibe. I think it's a stalker romance. There are a lot of content warnings at the start of this book. I saw a reel on Instagram that was like a clip of the audiobook with like someone acting it out over the top, and it was really funny. I saw that and I went, wait, I really want to read this book. A book that has like the really dark and spicy content, but also really funny moments. That just sounds ideal to me. And it's honestly really reminding me of my like 2017 AO3 days. Like I used to read a lot of dark romance, but it was all fan fiction. So I haven't read any of that stuff in, oh God, almost 10 years. No way 2017 was that long ago. That's 9 years ago. It's been just over 8 years since I graduated high school. What the hell? That's crazy. So yes, I used to read a lot of dark romance, but I haven't read it in a really long time. And that was actually one of my 2025 bookish goals, was that I wanted to read more. I wanted to, well, dive into the genre of dark romance and also horror. And I didn't read either of those last year. So I've brought that goal over to 2026. So I want to read dark romance, and this might be the first one to get me into that genre. This one I think I know a little bit more about than the last few books that I've spoken about, but I believe it is about a woman who follows these like masked men content creators online, and then one of those content creators like notices her and starts stalking her, but she's kind of into it because she like follows him online and kind of like is into him already. So there might be a case of like hidden identity in here as well. It sounds really interesting, and knowing that there are some really good humorous moments in there as well. I think this just sounds like it's covering a lot of bases. So yeah, I'm really excited to read that. Next, we've got A Court This Cruel and Lovely by Stasia Stark. This is a book title that I feel like I've heard so much online, but I cannot remember what anyone says about it, but I think it's got a pretty high rating on Goodreads. So I am excited about it. This is another fantasy romance. I think it's another fae book as well. There are gods in this book, and I have a feeling that there are vampires in this book. I don't know if I'm making that up. I might be making that up. From what I can gather from the back of the book, this is about a world where humans, some of them have power, or like their power was taken away from them, and the humans who do still have power are called the corrupt, and they're kind of like outlawed. It's kind of almost giving Powerless vibes in that some people have powers and some people don't, but it's kind of like preferred that you don't have powers in this world. And the FMC has powers and kind of goes into hiding, and then meets a mercenary who's gonna like protect her or something. So yeah, I assume she's gonna like learn about her powers, maybe train them up. This is the first book in a trilogy, I believe. So I assume she's gonna train up her powers. She's probably gonna infiltrate something. I don't know. I am excited from what I can tell in this book. I think it sounds right up my alley. I also just noticed that the like text is fairly big in this book. I don't know how that's coming across on camera, but the size of the text is actually pretty big, which makes me feel pretty good about reading this book. Like I think it's going to be a little bit quicker and easier than it seems, because this is a fairly thick book. It's like 566 pages. So that's a good chunky book, but the text is big. So I do think I will be able to get through this a little bit quicker than I assume I will. The other thing about this book, it's got this art at the front, which I love when books have art in them. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And it also really helps me kind of like situate myself in the world and be able to, because I really struggle when I read to picture things and picture people especially. So when I can see art of what the characters look like that changes the game for me. It makes reading so much easier and more enjoyable for me. Now, lucky last in our like standard edition books, this is also the first and only nonfiction on this book. This is Simply More by Cynthia Erivo. This is one that I might actually listen to as an audiobook as well. Like I might do like reading it and highlighting it. I think I'm going to scribble in this book. I always prefer for nonfiction to have the authors narrate it and listen to it. I think it's just a little bit more personal, which nonfiction I feel like is a little bit more personal. But yes, I picked this up because I am a performer. I honestly think that I'm going to find it really interesting to have a little bit of like insight into her life as a performer. That is the main thing that I'm interested in. It is also a really, really short book. I know as an audiobook, it's only like 3.5 hours, but it is 193 pages as a book. So that's, I mean, hopefully I'll breeze straight through this. The what do you call this, subtitle for this book is A Book for Anyone Who Has Been Told They're Too Much. Have I ever been told I'm too much? Maybe a few times, not all that often, but I will say my self-esteem could use a little boost. So hopefully this helps boost my self-esteem just a little bit. And moving on to our sprayed edge books. I don't know if these count as special editions, but I guess this is the start of our special edition journey. We are starting with Within the Space of a Second by Elise Helliwell. I don't know. But this is a time traveling romance. I don't know if that immediately qualifies it as a fantasy. I guess it would be a fantasy, but it's got this gorgeous, like, would you call that like a rising moon or a setting moon over water sprayed edge? I just think the colors are absolutely gorgeous. This is a beautiful, beautiful book. On the back, it says it is a slow burn, swoon-worthy love story about two people separated by time and the dangerous secrets that threaten to tear them apart. I'm not gonna lie, I mainly bought this because of how beautiful it is. This is 100% a book that I judged based on its cover. I am worried that it's going to end with like a sort of tragic ending. Like, are they going to be separated at the end and they're not going to be able to be together? Is it going to be really sad? I don't know how this could be a happy ending. So I'm skeptical. I don't think I've ever read a book with time traveling, which I do think it's a really cool concept. And hey, I used to be a massive Doctor Who girl. So this will tap into my like 12-year-old Doctor Who obsessed self, maybe. Next, we have got 3 books from the Kindred Curse series. We have got Spark of the Everflame, Glow of the Everflame, and Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole. Now, I do have Spark of the Everflame up here. I'm actually reading this series right now. I'm like halfway through Glow of the Everflame, and I'm absolutely loving it. And we all know when I'm loving a series, I feel the need to collect all of the books. So I originally saw these and I didn't pick them up the first few times I saw them. And then I saw someone talking about them online and I went, yeah, they are really cool. And so I did get influenced. And I did go and buy them. Did I need them? No. Do I think the sprayed edges are really, really cool? Yes. In the middle there, we've got DM, who's the main character, and all the sprayed edges match the color in her portrait there. So that's Spark of the Everflame. And then we've got Glow of the Everflame and lucky last, Heat of the Everflame. Heat of the Everflame is actually really, really heavy. I think they wanted to make it not look quite as dense when they went for the like standard paperback size, but they made the pages really, really thin to do that. They're almost like, you know how some Bibles have really thin pages? That's the kind of paper that they've used for Heat of the Everflame. And it doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like they've used that paper for Spark of the Everflame or Glow of the Everflame. They've just done it for Heat of the Everflame. I'm sure they've got their reasonings for that, but these books are really heavy. And I think it's because of the density of paper for Heat of the Everflame. Burn of the Everflame, which is the last book in the series, comes out at the end of this year. Oh, I have a feeling it's going to be painful to wait for that last book. But yes, I'm about halfway through Glow of the Everflame right now, and I'm absolutely loving it. This is a series about a girl named DM, who's on the front. She is a mortal who is like in a world where there are kind of like 3 main races. There's the Kindred, which are kind of like the gods, the big boys, and then we've got the Descendeds, who are descended from the Kindred, who also like mated with the mortals. So they've got powers and they're like extra strong, they heal really quickly. And then there are mortals who are just plain old mortals. And because they're not as powerful, they kind of like shunned, like they don't have as many privileges as the Descended. DM grows up in the mortal world and she enters this situation where she is suddenly introduced to the world of the Descended. Like, she'd never been able to really see that world, even though her mother was working as healer at the royal castle, palace. So yes, it's a really, really interesting book. I don't want to give you too many spoilers because I feel like it would be really easy. It would be so easy to accidentally say something that I shouldn't right now. It is a slow burn. I'm halfway through the second book right now and we're barely getting crumbs, and I am loving it. I'm loving it so much. I'm absolutely eating it up. Really interesting characters. I think the first book, honestly, felt like a big old book of exposition. I actually did a bit of a review on this book. I posted a review on Shorts if you want to go look at my Shorts. But yes, it felt like one big book of exposition. It felt like not a lot happened, even though a lot did happen in this book, but it just felt like it was all leading up to Glow of the Everflame, and I already do feel like more is happening and things feel higher stakes in Glow of the Everflame. I don't know, but yeah, I really am enjoying the series, so I do anticipate that I'm gonna love the whole series unless it takes a real nosedive towards the end of Glow of the Everflame or in Heat of the Everflame. These special editions, I think they are special editions, like limited print. I just think the sprayed edges are really, really cool. And as we know, I like to collect books when I like them. And now we are going into the big boy special editions, starting with On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. Look at those edges. It's got like dragon scales on the edge. This is the first book in the Bloodwing Academy. It's got a dragon on the front. I love a book with dragons. It says, "Welcome to Bloodwing Academy. Expect magic, expect competition, expect blood." Ooh, this is another book with fae and vampires. It's got vampires, it's got dragons. I think it's got trials. This book is giving me everything. I'll read you the synopsis for this one because it sounds like there's quite a bit going on, and I actually don't know a whole lot about this book. I don't think I can easily sum it up. So here we go. I didn't sign up for this. A half fae in a school of high blood vampires? That's a recipe for disaster. I'm Medra Pendragon, last of the dragon riders, or so they tell me. Funny thing is, there are no dragons left, but that hasn't stopped the vampires from deciding I'm worth capturing. Now I'm stuck at Bloodwing Academy, where the High Bloods run everything, and the Blightborn are just blood in their veins, pawns in their games. But the worst part? Blake Drackharrow. He's been tormenting me since the moment we met, and now, thanks to some ancient ritual, we're betrothed. He acts like he owns me, but I'm not going down without a fight. Bloodwing isn't just a school, it's a battlefield. If you're weak, you're dead. Between deadly competitions and a dragon-shaped secret looming over my head, all I have to do is survive, except that I'm starting to think the real danger is what I'm becoming in this twisted game of power. And Blake might just be the one who pushes me over the edge. They think they can control me. They think they can use me. But they have no idea what they've awakened. This could either be super duper fun or super duper cringy. It's really hard to tell. But this is what the naked hardcover looks like. It is giving kind of like Fourth Wing vibes a little bit. But yeah, I just think it's a beautiful book. Next up, and this is definitely one of my favorites, we have got To Bleed a Crystal Bloom by Sarah A. Parker. I don't know if it's supposed to be To Bleed a Crystal Bloom or To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. This is I think a Rapunzel retelling. I haven't read any Sarah A. Parker before. She wrote When the Moon Hatched, and I've heard great things about that book, but this book caught my eye because of these edges. How beautiful are they? And the reversible dust jacket, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. This is what the naked hardcover looks like. How beautiful is that? I love that. And then this is the reversible dust jacket. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. And I would put on the dust jacket that way, except that I feel like dust jackets never really sit properly when you try and put them the other way around. So I'm just going to appreciate looking at it and not display it with the reverse. But it's also got this gorgeous art on the inside. Look at that. How pretty is that? It's also throughout the book got kind of like art interspersed, which I think is going to make for a really, really lovely reading experience to kind of have these like visual prompts. I didn't even realize, but there's also a bit of art just like a few pages in. How gorgeous is that? I assume that's our FMC. She's a painter. real cutesy. Oh, I love this map. It's got a little map at the front, but it's like a teeny tiny little area and it's mostly the tower. That's really funny. I love a little bit of Rapunzel. I am a Tangled girly through and through. I was obsessed with that movie growing up. And so I feel like any kind of Rapunzel retelling, I'm immediately like, yes, give it to me. I love it. It actually looks like she's not stuck just in a tower. She's like in a castle, but she doesn't leave the castle because there are beasts out like in the world. I don't know. I am really, really excited to read this book. As I said, love a Rapunzel retelling, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful book. And lucky last, this might be my favorite. I think it is a really beautiful edition. This is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Again, I haven't read this. I do own the trade paperback of this book. I've had this for maybe a year. I don't know. But I haven't read it yet. I have had a friend read it and say that she didn't love it very much, but also I've heard people online who have similar taste to me say that they loved it. So as far as I'm aware, it seems like a book that you need to put a fair amount of effort into reading. It seems quite like lore heavy, but it's got dragons. I love some dragons. And this is simply a gorgeous special edition. I had seen this book for a few months out and about, and I always walked past it because I went, no, I haven't read the book yet. But I kept thinking about it. And every time I saw it, I would go, oh, but it's so pretty. And it is. So I bought it. And even if I don't enjoy the book, I just think it is so gorgeous that it can be a little shelf trophy, and I'll show off the sprayed edges. Something random about this edition that I love is that the dust jacket is like made of paper. Like it's not, well, I guess dust jackets are all made of paper. This is like, it's not a glossy paper. It's like a regular paper. If I rub that together, does that give you an indication of what kind of paper this is? Is that doing anything for you? This is what the naked hardcover looks like. I feel like this is absolutely gorgeous as well. It says, heartbreak has a tone that echoes through ages. How beautiful is that? I love the color as well. It's like this sandy kind of color. And yeah, I'm obsessed with these sprayed edges. Ooh, it's even got a little stamp on the front that says Deluxe Collector's Edition. How nice is that? Are you recognized for collecting? I think I will just put this like immediately. I've got like a shelf up the top here, which has got just like a bunch of beautiful sprayed edges, collectors, and special editions. And I think I'm just going to put this book straight up there instead of putting it on my TBR. And then when I read it, I'll read my paperback version. And hopefully I really like this book because I now own the collector's edition. But yeah, I think it is just absolutely gorgeous. So this is about Rave, who was an assassin for a rebellion and then is caught and is a prisoner. And then the king meets her in the dungeon or in the prison. And then I guess they get chatting and a novel occurs. We've got more fae. We've got more dragons. It's ticking my boxes. So those were all of my books. I don't even know if I can attempt to hold all of these. Hold on. Oh my god. Wait. I can't even fit them all in frame. Oh no, here we go. It's so heavy. Oh my god. Guys, I would love to hold up a stack and say, hey, these are all the books that I bought in January. But I just tried to pose for a thumbnail holding these up and I am out of breath. This thing is heavy. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 books, including 3 hardcover special editions. These are heavy. This is like a whole shelf worth of books. I need to cut myself off for the rest of the month. Honestly, I need to cut myself off for the rest of the year. I need to not be spending this much book. I need to not be spending this much money on books. But also, if you want to buy me a book, maybe I'll leave my Amazon wishlist in the description. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I'm a little baby YouTuber, so your support and your time means the world to me. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like. Comment down below a flame emoji so that I know you watched to the end, because you're the best for sticking around and you deserve some recognition for it. So let me know if you stuck around, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, this is precarious as heck.